All right. I hope everyone's having a nice weekend. This is Koosh. Going to do another members request here. Shout out to the members. You've been putting some good names on the radar here, and I'll be following them, continuing to following them more in the members video group. I'm going to post this one for everybody because I think there's some important findings in the sector. For me, when I look at speculative ideas, speculation in terms of finding a bottom, those are tricky. In terms of long-term convictions with things like Bitcoin, those aren't tricky for me because I know what it is. I've got the hours into it. This sector, I don't. And so this is pure speculation. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't take any of this as financial advice. I'm just providing you with what I'm seeing from a pure technical perspective. As always, I could be wrong. But when looking at where the puck potentially is going, where money potentially may be flowing, these are the type of Elliott wave counts that are very much reminiscent of what you would see at the end of a massive corrective move. And I've got Tilray up right now, and let's just run through an exercise of what a massive corrective move would look like, right? We would be looking at just a large A, B, C zigzag. And with an A wave, you're going to have it's an impulsive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move. B wave, you're going to see 1, 2, 3, and then 5 impulsive 1, 2, 3, 4. And very often you get these, five ending diagonals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Something that looks like that. And so when I look at something like Tilray, I see a lot of the characteristics of that formation in this weekly chart. This is a weekly chart. It's up in line form. And so, we're talking about a formation that's running on 6 years now, potentially, if that's what it is, where you have this A wave, you have a B wave, and you have potentially the makings of a C wave towards the end of the C wave. What I'm claiming is potentially the end. With the A, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially some more in there, and that could be an extended third in there. I talk about extensions a lot. The B wave is very clear, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then ending diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move, right, where you get some type of diagonal in the end there. And so that's the lens at which I'm looking at this, the bias of this chart through. When zooming in on potentially where this is, and I thought potentially there were some bottoms in here earlier. RSI I've got up on the weekly, and these could fool you too, right? Because everyone's looking for, bullish divergences. We had one that played out, or didn't play out, that was forming, all in this region, right? You had price making a low, RSI making a high. This isn't really a powerful one. You'd like to see them, kind of go in the opposite direction in terms of angle. This angle was much more muted than the angle down. So I wouldn't consider it a strong divergence. However, it did result in a price move from 150 to 3. It doubled off that divergence. Now, that just happened to be the 1, 2. What I'm claiming is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so ultimately the question is what would be the things that you would expect to see towards the end of these moves? Well, on an RSI, we don't have any clues, right? We've got a very weak divergence. Price, low, you got a low double bottom on RSI, so that's not really a strong divergence. That would be considered weak. So I'm going to eliminate that for consideration for anything material here. We'll pull that back up. What I do like about this potential of C being in here is the manipulation. And what do I mean by manipulation? Very often we see, these lows get swept And these lows, this low range here, this green rectangle has been in place since June. So working on, 6+ months of a low, right? Low, this range, Wyckoff, call it an accumulation. And, this is your creek, right? Your creek, and then you spring it, and then, you manipulate the market, sweep those lows, only to come back and potentially reclaim. Now, that hasn't happened yet. So that's kind of what I'm claiming potentially is unfolding here is a manipulation low into five, which could be in, which could very well be in. The key to increase the probabilities that that's in is this pivot low here at 150 from June being reclaimed on a weekly time frame. As we can see, the 30-week is, this isn't a downtrend. It's stage two downtrend all the way, all the way, all the way, right? And so there's no clues with the 30-week. There's no, from a price standpoint, this looks like it's basing, but again, we have a downward sloping 30-week. And so this I would expect to take a while to resolve and to give us clarity, because even with a reclaim here, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move to make one, this then would just start to flatten out. Very rarely do you see, you know, such a quick turnaround on a moving average like the 30 on a weekly time frame. And so I think patience potentially is warranted here. Chasing is going to not be warranted because, again, with the length of this, you could easily see a one, and then, what you want to see is a check back. This is, I think, the ideal place, unless you've got some conviction and you're an investor. This is pure speculation. So from a speculation standpoint, this would be the area where I would look to see a check back to that 30 or a check back, some type of ABC check back in this range. Space is great. A test, a breach, but a reclaim, just something resembling a 1-2. And that's where I think the most asymmetric speculation occurs. For an investor that knows this company inside and out and knows the sector, which is not me, it might be a different story. But that's my read on Tilray. And so this is all speculative. Should an impulse be starting here, then the potential, there's some real potential. There's some symmetry here from a risk reward standpoint. But again, for me, that would come somewhere in that range. A 170, 180, 190 check back would be much more risk retired for this scenario. Okay. So that's Tilray. Next is Canopy. And so Canopy, and I'm doing this in this order, Canopy Growth Corporation looks like it's either a little bit behind of what Tilray is doing. And what do I mean by that? We have the same type of setup, right? Where we've got an A wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, B, and then one, that's an extended first. Extended first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in there. And so this looks like it just needs one more capitulation wick. The divergence here would be much stronger if we were to get, a low somewhere lower, and we run these lows and do a manipulation, kind of like we did with Tilray. But I could be wrong. This thing could be forming some type of double bottom, but that would make a much stronger divergence on the weekly. Same concept here, right? Let's put the weekly chart, this weekly is, that's just started to turn down here. You would expect, even if you were to get a kickback here, I wouldn't be surprised with one more stab down. A weekly close for this one above 394 is more of the range I'd be looking for. But again, same concept. I'd want to see I'd want to see this flattening out. I'd want to see a check back to retire more risk in terms of symmetry for potential upside. So that's Canopy Growth. And last is Aurora Cannabis. And Aurora Cannabis is either leading or lagging, and I don't know. I can't tell which is going on. This is again it's pure speculation. Uh, what I do see is another potential 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move down, and or five has yet to be completed here. Uh, Remember, Canopy Growth is kind of like here, Tilray is like here, or this is what Tilray just did, right? And this is what Canopy's about to do. And so there's two interpretations here. One is it's leading and it already manipulated its lows, right? Notice this low manipulation, reclaim A, B, C, 2 somewhere in this region. Anything above 310 to hold would look good. What would give credence to that idea as well? This 30-week is starting to flatten out, right? Whereas with the two others that I shared with you have much steeper, more momentum against them, and so we'll find out. We'll find out soon. So again, two ideas here is that we got one more leg down before impulse, or has been completed, and this is kind of front running the sector. Either way, those are my thoughts. I hope you're all having a nice weekend. Members, thanks for the requests. I'll keep those coming. And subscribers, thanks for your support. Have a great rest of the day. Take care.